Oh, and we are live. John, Jaws, my guy, how are you?
Doing as best as I can, man. Every single day is a
Yes,
new
sir.
opportunity to align myself with my highest self.
I love that, bro. I love the wording of that. Align. I
Yes.
think you know we've we've had really good chats in the past. Um, Many of them are somewhat spiritual based. Um,
Hmm.
I've always talked about this. I still am. I am a massive supporter and advocate of meditating in whatever way you want to meditate. Um, every just sitting with yourself, being with yourself. Because I'll tell you this, man, all the answers that you want in life,
Are within
they're all there.
all big time.
Every single one of them. You know, and it's the value of just sitting with it
Yeah.
for some time and allowing your body to process. That's the thing with the human doings. We're so busy doing things that we're always just trying to do things. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
weird toxic cycle.
Well, we're in this constant environment of overstimulation, right? And we're in this, let's just call it, never ending pursuit to chase, and we're
Mm,
always looking for things outside of us, whether
yeah,
that's success, money, status, all these things that this society has uh, kind of indoctrinated us into, right? It's we've been indoctrinated into that kind of culture,
program. Yeah,
chasing and money and success and fame and status and all that things that we tend to lose sight of who we truly are and what we're capable of being. So that's why I like what you said about every all the answers that we have are within us, because when you can actually sit with ourselves, and that's actually something that I had a very difficult time with in the past.
mm,
I could not sit with myself,
mm,
and reason being was I just was uncomfortable with who I was. I
100%.
didn't I I didn't truly know who I was.
Yeah.
I was living my life to meet other people's expectations, and
Ah,
what that meant was, okay, now I'm chasing success, I'm chasing money, all for the validation of other people. And I did a lot of healing work to realize that that all came from my parents. Right. And
yeah,
that, I think a lot of people live their lives that way, and they don't realize it. They're living their lives trying to prove themselves, right?
yeah.
And that's why a lot of times, people will get burnt out.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times people, when they're not chasing, when they're not pursuing, and they are by themselves, that
Yep.
they feel restless.
Yep.
And that's what happened to me. I couldn't just sit still. I couldn't just be by myself. I either always needed to be with someone, with whether that was an intimate partner, whether that was with friends,
Yeah.
or I needed to distract myself
Hmm.
with substances. And that's actually why I speak on this quite often, but that's actually why I fell into a drug addiction back in
Okay.
24.
Yeah.
Right. And I needed to escape that uneasy feeling that I had within me. But
Yep.
that drug addiction was essentially a blessing in disguise, because it truly woke me up to the programming that I had, that downloaded growing up from my parents.
Yep. And I think the key to it too is also understanding that it came from your parents, but also not blaming them at the same time. You
No,
know,
of course.
they did our parents did our best. I've got all sorts of fucking issues from my parents,
Yeah.
and I'm sure my son will have some issues from me, but hopefully not as many, because that there's one thing now being a father and going into fatherhood. I saw a meme like shortly before he was born that it's always stuck with me, is you need to address your demons, otherwise they will raise your children.
Mm,
And that's the crux of a lot of the issues that we see in this world, is generation after generation of people that have not dealt with their shit, while
yeah.
also having loads and loads of trauma loaded on. Like
Right.
it's and the key is understanding that it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay once you realize that to allow it to
Yes.
continue on.
I think that's the difficult part for most people, though, is getting to that level of awareness. Most people don't
I,
even realize that they're living their lives from their traumas passed down to them by their own parents or maybe friends or significant others, and they continue in this perpetual state of living their lives through their ego.
Yeah, exactly, and that is, it is your ego that you don't want to sit with yourself because you don't want to hear what you don't want to hear, right?
Yeah.
Because when you sit with yourself, you'll hear that truth, whether you like it or not. And I mean, there's a whole whack of reasons that we get into these loops, but it stems from, like you said, well, the counterpart to what you said about being aligned, it stems from a misalignment.
Hmm.
When you get into this world, people will say, oh, you got to put your ego aside. No, you don't do that. Your ego is how you operate. That's
Yes.
literally your operating system. You do not put it aside, you align it with a
Yes.
higher purpose. You take a step out and understand that we have been programmed and indoctrinated in so many ways that a lot of people just don't want to admit that. A
Yep.
lot of people don't want, because at the end of the day, when you dig through all of we can talk about the programming and indoctrination, but it's still us that let it happen to us, and it
Yep.
is up to us to rewrite the programming.
Big
That's
time.
the beautiful thing about being a human being, is you can rewrite your programming anytime you want. You're not just the actor in the movie, you're the director, the producer, you're the screenwriter, you are everything in the movie. You're not just a drop in the ocean, you're also the ocean itself.
I love that.
Yeah,
But
it's
here's the difficult part with that, though. A lot of people have a hard time taking accountability,
I,
and
yeah.
what happens is they perpetuate a victim mindset, right? And they blame their circumstances on this, and it's that person's fault, or the reason why I'm in this situation because of the government, or whatever the case is. And when you live your life in a perpetual state of victimhood,
Mhm.
then you will never be your own savior. And that's the only way that you get yourself out of the situation and start living your life in alignment with your highest self, is to take accountability and to finally understand that, yes, you might have been programmed and indoctrinated into specific belief systems, mindsets, situations, circumstances, but you also have the power to reprogram that and get yourself out of it.
Absolutely. You are the one you've always been looking for.
That's right.
It's the difference between exoteric and esoteric. It's searching without when really it's all within. Uh,
Mm.
and so, yeah, you got to take responsibility for that, but also just understand that it's more of just the awareness
Yeah.
of what's gotten you to where it is. To take the fucking blame out of it, the judgment, and all, take all the weirdo human shit that we do out of it, and just
Right.
understand that it's happened. Okay, now understand that every single second 50 million cells are dying and being reborn in your body. Every 40 seconds, your body's biophotic operating system activates, and that will analyze the foods that you're eating, the drinks that you're drinking, the people that you're talking to, the thoughts that you're having, everything that's going on in your world, and it will rewrite your epigenetics.
That's right.
This
That's right.
is creating your own quantum loop, is understanding that you cannot be mad at the picture when you're the fucking artist.
Oh, there you go. I love that. And every cell can be commanded to your thought, and that's why every single thought that goes through your head, whether that's positive or negative, your cells will follow in command. And that's why, for me, I live my life with a lot of self-worth issues.
Mhm.
So every single day, people, let's say, would compliment me, and I would try to be humble, right? And if you look at the word humble, to look up the definition, it's to have a low viewpoint of oneself.
Mhm.
And that's why whenever someone would compliment me, I would, kind of brush it off and say, I could be better here, or I'm not that good, and
You
things of that
downplay it.
nature. Right? And then
You,
that you're what's
you
happening.
value you take the validation out of the compliment, and the person just trying to be a nice fucking person to you, and
Right.
here you are not validating what they're saying.
Exactly. And on top of that, you are also perpetuating a self-fulfilling prophecy that you aren't that good, that you
Hmm.
aren't that version of you. And no, it's not a cocky thing to look high, to look at yourself with a high regard, but just understanding that anytime you speak negatively about yourself, or just even, I used to engage in a lot of self-deprecation,
Yeah.
that over time your frequency, your vibration matches that.
If you want to figure out the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And
That's
it
right.
is as it's not easy, but it is as simple as that. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. I actually just saw something. If you took all of the space outside from the inside of all of the atoms out of it, and just had just the little bit that was left over, you'd fit all 8 billion people into a sugar cube. Now,
Interesting.
what that means is everything is nothing. It's made up. It's all it's all an
It's a
illusion.
it's a projection of our consciousness.
Exactly. I used to think that we see things with our two eyes, and then we get all fucked up because our pineal gland's calcified, and we're not deciphering it properly. It's the opposite, except for the calcification that applies, but that's
Right.
what projecting what we see out of our two eyes to see what's going on. Again, it's a big show,
It's a holographic universe.
Exactly. 100%. And you know what the thing is this is literally now being proven. There's
Mm.
like a quantum entanglement has been proven. The two slit experiment is brilliant. I love the two slit experiment.
That's the one where I guess particles are they don't take any shape or form until someone observes it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
which means where your energy flows, reality goes. So if your life is full of shit,
Oh yeah.
understand that either you're putting your energy towards that,
Hmm.
or you're not learning the lesson that is there for you to learn so that you can grow and evolve out of that shit.
100%. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems that people get in the healing community, and which is a very massively growing community, and I've been loving to see it because the collective is just getting better and better. But
Yeah.
the problem that I've noticed is in many cases is it's all just positive. It's just only focus on the rainbows and butterflies and stuff like that. While I agree with that's where you should put your focus on, you also need to be able to have the emotional quotient, the ability to handle the negative shit when it happens, because it's gonna fucking happen.
Big
If you're
time.
running
Big time.
through life all rainbows and
Yeah.
butterflies, not like being real about
Yeah.
things, and paying attention to the dark part of the yin yang, because it
Yeah.
is duality, it is yin yang negative. Like, the biggest problem people have in life is thinking that they're not going to have fucking problems. You're always going to
Mhm.
have problems. You just have to be able to manage them and deal with them in an emotionally sound, intelligent way.
Right, and I think that's like you said, with the healing community, when they just put themselves in the positive mindset only, and when something tragic happens, like for me, for example, going through an injury earlier this year, I ruptured my Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
I know everything does happen for a reason, but
Mm-hmm.
something like that to happen to me, a professional bodybuilder, to sideline me from my goal to get to the back to Olympia stage, it sucks.
Mhm.
And there was a period during that time where, like, I was trying to maintain positivity, positive mindset, but the circumstance of it just it started to eat at me, right? And I couldn't just hide from that feeling. I couldn't just brush it off and just push it down, because that's what happens. Like when you're not facing what you're truly feeling inside, and you're not allowing yourself to process the emotion that's coming up, and you just kind of push it down and try to mask it with positivity,
Yeah.
then all of that's going to do is going to be a cancer inside of you that's going to slowly eat away at you, and then it's going to build up as anxiety, stress, and over time you're feeling this way. You're trying to be positive, but you have all these overwhelming feelings inside of you. That's only going to be a vibration that goes out to the world, which perpetuates more of that feeling.
Yeah.
So for me, during that injury, I had to like accept the situation, and there were times where I was just like, I had to just sit with my emotions and let it just go through me, right? And I'll be transparent, but there were times when I had to just like, just thinking about everything that was going on in my life, whether it was with my business or with my bodybuilding, just feeling the weight of the world, right? And I had to sit with it, I had to understand it. But once I allowed it to go through and out and permeate through me, I finally had this uplifting feeling. I had this weight off my shoulders. I felt so much lighter to
Yeah.
finally take action and move. But a
Yeah.
lot of people, they bottle those emotions inside, which is what accumulates more stress and anxiety, which then makes them incapable of actually taking action and moving.
No, and on top of that, you let that continue on long enough, that will manifest itself into a physical disease or illness in no time,
Yeah,
especially a disease, because it's dis-ease due to your misalignment, due to your inability to let things process, because you aren't taking accountability that, like oh, I met the person that's been causing every problem in my life. Hi, me. Like that. You're the
big time.
common denominator to every single problem in your life. Once you recognize that and get over the fact that you are, because we all are, don't worry, little ego. It's gonna be
That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
And then you can make the progress. And again, like, the quicker and more you take responsibility and be accountable for your actions, the quicker and more quantum leaps you will take. And
Yeah.
believe in quantum leaps, because it's real. It's being proven more and more, and that's we've talked about it, and we wanted to talk about it too. It's mindset, right? It's your mindset is either, oh man, I gotta deal with these things, or it's fucking rights, I get to deal with these things. I get to be the reason that this shit stops in my
Mm,
marriage. I get to fucking do that. That's
yeah.
awesome, and I'm gonna.
Wow.
And it's literally just recognizing that you need to let this shit flow through you and do
Yep.
that. And
Yeah.
then allow yourself grace as you go through it to,
Compassion.
yeah, and then you can get to where it's a maintaining thing, because again, shit is always going to happen, but when you don't have all of the shit from other people on your back, you're able to deal with your own shit better. It's a
Yeah.
wild thing that happens. It's magical.
It's a you have to go through that process to get to a place though where where you can't take accountability, because if you can't, then you're always going to be in that perpetual cycle,
You will you
right?
will you will perpetually blame others for your problems.
Yes, and
And
that's why taking accountability is massive. And when you don't know how to do that, and you become defensive, when you shift blame, there's no growing that's going to
yep,
take place, right? And for me too, even if I got this injury, I could have blamed it on the circumstances of me playing pickleball or whatever the case is, and just continue to perpetuate that victim mindset. But now it's like, okay, I'm rebuilding.
yep,
The power's in my control. I know what to do to get myself back into a good routine, and now it's a
yep,
matter of me taking action to actually execute that.
yep. It's understanding that everything in life is a happening, And when you understand that it's all happening, it's just like, okay, now what? You know,
Yeah.
if it's something bad, then then be grateful, because you know that it's never, nothing in life here is permanent.
Mm.
So if something that is going bad, just know that, be happy knowing that this is temporary. If something is good, be there in that moment, knowing that this is only temporary.
Yeah.
It's being in that moment. Like, again, in the healing community, it's as we find ourselves on the opposite side of the spectrum of good and evil and stuff, because you just go to a side that is not sustainable. It's just, we right where we are is in a world and life of duality. Shit is going to happen, and if you aren't prepared internally for that, I'm not saying prepared externally, go be a doomsday prepper. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go do it. But
Yeah.
you still need to be prepared in here.
Yeah.
That's the true game. That's the game that we play. You see people that are labeled as successful, very rich. There's a lot of miserable fucking millionaires out there. They're playing the game well. They're playing, but they're going to continue to fucking play that game over and over and over and over until they realize that that's not the game.
That's not the game. No.
The game is finding that inner peace, love, and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
That it comes from aligning yourself with your higher self and higher purpose, and that comes from, and again, in the healing community, they'll say, "Oh, the highest frequency for humans is love."
Yeah.
I added that. I get that, but that also coincides with truth, because without truth, there is no love, and without love, there is no truth, which means at the top of that is authenticity.
That's
and
right.
that is something that we need to strive for, to be as authentic, and not in a fake ass world that we live in. It can be very alienating. You're going very much against the grain. It's a Matrix Lady in the red dress scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's that's a great documentary series. But
let me ask you, why do you think people have a hard time being authentic?
Well, I mean, misalignment. Their ego is out of alignment from their hearts. I think, because we've talked about this in previous episodes, 3D to 5D. Because that's what is prophesied. Dolores Cannon referenced it as 3D to 5D. Eckhart Tolle talks about New Earth and all that. And to me, it's an upgrade in where we think from.
As a collective consciousness?
Yeah, it's thinking from your heart, not from up here.
Yeah.
Because that's what gets us out of alignment. Because up here thinks, what's in it for me? Here knows that there's a process, and we look at it as what's in it for us.
Yeah.
This is like in a basic way. That's a good question. That's that's my best way of answering that at this current moment.
I mean, what I think. I'm sorry to interrupt, but when it comes,
what do you think?
Just basing it off my own personal experience, because I've also been the type to, not fabricate, but put on a mask.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of that comes down to me, like the fear of being seen, and seeking validation. And I think, well, that all comes back to ego, like you were saying before, right? Ego is there to protect you. It's a defense mechanism to make you avoid pain. And sometimes, let's say, for example, you put yourself out there, you're trying to be authentic, you're trying to speak your truth, and people judge you. People criticize you. They have their opinions, and you become scared of that. You become scared of putting yourself out there because of the fear of judgment, in fear of being seen. So that's why authenticity. And then I think a lot of that comes down to our nature as people to be people pleasers. So
Yeah.
we put on this mask and we put on this persona or facade
Yeah.
right out
Facade.
into the world to meet other people's expectations and have their specific perspective on us be a certain way where we can be liked and where we can be viewed as someone that they would respect or whatever the case is. And
Yeah.
at least that's how it was for me for many, many years, right? Until I did my healing work and I healed the one relationship that finally made me break free from that programming.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It took some time though.
And as I'm listening to you say this, I'm realizing that a lot of people are, in the exact, I wouldn't say exact same position, but in their own way, going through their own way of things. I've noticed it on fucking literally every level of people are going through their shit, and I
Yeah.
do firmly personally believe that as a collective we're in for a massive shift.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited for it. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see it because I think the whole world is slowly kind of the level of consciousness is just they're waking up.
I don't think it's slow anymore, man. It's so crazy the way, like, the more I recognize it, the more I recognize it. It's kind of like synchronicities, and I mean the two slit experiment. It's that, okay, I would want to buy a new car and I want to buy a white 4Runner, right? All of a sudden, you start seeing more white 4Runners. Now,
Mm-hmm.
are you seeing more white 4Runners, or are you becoming more aware of white 4Runners?
Right. Yeah. Well,
It's like,
that's processed through something called the reticular activating system. Have you heard of that? Yeah.
yes, sir.
And it's just like where your attention goes, your energy flows. And
Yeah.
when you're putting your attention towards this one thing, which is why when you become hyper focused on a goal, and this is something that you're putting all your energy and focus and attention towards, that thing will just grow and manifest. But
Mhm.
a lot of times people are, they're so distracted. They're spread so thin, doing so many things at once,
Mhm.
and taking care of so many things that they don't have the energetic capacity
Yeah.
to evolve one thing.
Yeah, the word distraction is to literally take one off of track,
Yeah.
out of traction, which means, that I do believe we came here for a purpose, and if your purpose is to go within and evolve, and that they're gonna do every fucking possible thing that they can to distract you and take you off of that
Right.
track. Oh, I had something there too that I was going to say. I'll bring it back up as there've been so many things. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I got to say that.
Yeah. But I do like you said, I do believe everyone here has a purpose, right? And for me, I think there's a general purpose for everyone, and that's to evolve humanity and evolve the consciousness of humanity, because we're here right now. The Earth is in a third density, right? And we need to get this Earth back to what's that?
I think we're in fourth. We've moved to fourth.
We're
I
in
think,
fourth. Do you think so?
and I can back why I say that.
Interesting. Okay. What are you talking about?
Because nobody talks about 4D. Everybody talks about 3D to 5D.
Right.
I've kind of had my analogy on this. First of all, remember 3D to 4D. And I also want to talk about manifestation. I wanted to go back and answer that question about why people don't want to take accountability. It's because of the fact that we are the painter of the picture. So to say that it's admitting that you're the fucking reason that you've had all of your problems.
Right. It's like saying that the reason why your life's a shit show is because of you.
It's like that the meme with the Scooby Doo. It's like, well, let's see who the perpetrator of all of these things is. It's like, it's just you.
It's you.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, okay, so 3D 5D. There's a scene in the Ghostbusters, and Dan Aykroyd, who's actually really big into like UFOs and stuff like that. He says, it's like, guys, we're going into the fourth dimension. You have to be really careful about what you think, because everything that you think is going to manifest right away.
Wow. Wait,
Okay.
wait. This is the Ghostbusters movie?
Yep. Yeah. From the 80s.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that's why the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man comes in, because I think that was I can't remember, I can't think of whose character this was, but that was a very fond childhood memory for that character. Now the question then becomes, why is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man going and creating havoc and destroying the city? Because while that was a positive, or is a positive memory for that character, they're in a state of being attacked. And so they're in a very
State of fear.
jacked up nervous system. So their nervous system, while it's a positive character, it's creating a disaster, because as within, so without,
Right.
we are projector. And so when it comes to creating and manifesting and stuff, along with alignment, my biggest focus with meditation lately is just calming my fucking central nervous system. Just calm it down.
Yeah,
because that's when you get into creation, right?
that's right. That's right.
It's the bottom. It's a boiling water thing, right? Like, if you can't see very far in front of you, if you're in boiling water, if the water's all bubbling and boiling, whereas settle the fuck down and let the water calm, you're gonna be able to see very far.
Yeah, right. I think that's why a lot of people aren't able to create the lives that they want, is because their nervous systems they're just so overstimulated, and on top of that too, they're in like fight or flight the entire time. And
people spend the majority of their life in sympathetic
fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Sympathetic,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
that's what you want to reach, and you can do that very, very easily. There's a number of tools out there, but the best tool is, guess what? Your breath, calming and sitting, and there's science that says if you sit in silence for 2 hours, you will build brain cells. I mean, we know neuroplasticity is a thing. We know that we can rewrite our shit.
Our DNA.
So, yeah, absolutely. And our story book, and that's really, that's a big part of it, is I think, with the collective, because I when you said that, that's things I've said before. We have a goal as a collective. In order to achieve that, we have our own individual goals. Part of that is remembering why the fuck
we are
here to do what we came here to do. And the best way to remember is to remember, find the people that you fucking came here to do this with. And there are people that came here to do this with. I meet them all around the world all the time, because I am very aligned with that belief. Therefore, the artist is creating that picture, and it's happening in an incredible rate, because we're in 4D, like I said. And,
wow. So are you saying right now, because we're in 4D, that our belief systems and our intentions are manifesting into this reality quicker?
Very, very, way quicker than people say in 5D or whatever, there's no karma. I disagree with that. I believe there's instant karma. It happens immediately. Like, it's just
what's funny? So let me tell you a story about karma. And it was during my original spiritual awakening. So I was just saying earlier that I went through my own drug addiction back in 24, but that drug addiction is what led me to God. I wasn't necessarily a believer in God. I was indoctrinated into Buddhism as part of my family's religion, but I was never a believer in necessarily Buddha. But then going through my addiction, it stripped me away of everything that I built in my life through my ego, because I built my business through ego. I pursued my bodybuilding journey through ego. So what that drug addiction did was it literally stripped me of all of it. My business, my bodybuilding. I stopped following my bodybuilding routine. And
they'll tear you right to the ground, right where you need to be.
It would, but I think that's why I'm saying it was a blessing in disguise, because God
No.
wanted me to go through that process to strip me of everything that I built with my ego, to the
Hmm.
point where, okay, now I'm making these, bad decisions in my life, quote unquote, going out late at night, partying, driving without a license, and I did that, throughout the whole summer of 24. And to speak on that instant karma, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I was still doing it. I was still going out driving at night, partying, and so that in 1 month, it was the crazy. This is how I knew God was intervening. It was divine intervention through this karmic retribution. Um, was that in 3 months I had my car impounded 3 times from the cops, and the third time it happened, the cop wasn't even behind me, so I was going this way, and the cop was on the opposite side of the road going this way.
Oh,
Randomly, for some reason, the cop decided to U-turn, and
yeah.
then now it's behind me, and then next thing I know, sirens
Yeah.
go on,
Oh, yeah.
pulls me over, and then says that hey, your license is like, we scanned your license plate. It says your license is suspended.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm told to get out of the car. They handcuff me, and then they impound my car. But during that time, though, because that was like near the end spurt of my drug addiction, because I was
Mhm.
going through the spiritual awakening, and knowing that, there's all of this, because I had my car impounded twice already. So during that third time, I'm like, okay, this has to be a sign from God. This has
Yeah.
to be this is my calling or call from God, to know that the route that I'm on right now is the wrong path. And because I'm going through this karmic cycle, it's telling me that I need to align myself so that I don't go through that same karmic cycles again. And that's why it was like almost immediate. Those karmic cycles were happening immediately. And I think part of that reason why too was during that time I wasn't eating anything, right? And
Mhm.
like I was fasting because of the drugs. I wasn't
Yeah.
hungry at all, so I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
So my body was sort of, so to speak, cleansed from
Yeah.
all the food, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I had a closer
Oh,
connection to God
yeah.
because of it, right? And that's why I think the karmic cycles were happening much faster during that time. It's kind
Yeah.
of weird how it all happened, but long story
Yeah,
short.
I like how you say during that time, because we're multidimensional beings. You got to understand that. I mean, we're operating in all dimensions all at the same time. We just don't realize that. From our ego is fucking stuck in 3D because our egos aren't learning the fucking lessons that we're supposed to learn, and so they keep handing us the new form of it and a different manifestation every over and over until you fucking learn from it.
Until you learn, and that's the hard lesson I had to learn back in 24. But once I learned it, it's that awareness and the wisdom that I
Yep.
gained from that experience. It's something that I can use to actually help change other people's lives. Knowing what I went through, it's a superpower now that I have to almost like read people very well, to the point
Yep.
where I can read my clients really well. I understand their psychology, I understand their behavioral patterns, I understand why they do the things that they do, and I can
Yep.
kind of dissect it for them in a way where they can digest it all, so that they
Yep.
understand and they can gain that awareness to
Yep.
then have the wisdom and the superpower themselves to change their own lives.
What I love about that is we're understanding where we need to go without needing to control it.
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
I think the need to control comes very much from a lack of security.
Right.
If you lack faith, you're going to lack security. If you have unadulterated faith, then you know that it doesn't fucking matter what happens.
The outcome.
It all works out. It doesn't matter what religion you're with or whatever. It's all prophesized in different forms and different. That's what we came here for.
Yeah.
And I don't think you get to see that show until you yourself are ready. I think that part of the show happens on every other different timeline that there
Yeah.
is right
Yes,
now.
there is that timeline has already existed. It's already playing out,
Yeah.
but you have to align yourself with that timeline. And
I like to use the analogy of like an old school stereo. right? Like have the whole long line of the bandwidths of the different frequencies, the different stations that you wanted to listen to, and if you're
Tune yourself to the right frequency.
exactly. If you want to be on 432, you might be at 440, and you can kind of hear what you want to hear, but it's a little fuzzy, so it's not coming in quite clear. You need to just dial a little so that you can clearly see or hear or be what you're in the frequency that you want to be at.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the difficult part with us as human beings, is because we've been given a chance to go through this school of earth, that we have the free will, right? And I guess sometimes, most of the times, I think most people, when they use their free will, they use it in a direction that they're unconscious to. They're living their lives using that.
That's when you succumb to temptations and vices. It's that's the age old trick. If it feels good, do it, type of thing. And that's not always. It's what feels good might, or it is perceived as good, might not be right for you, and that's okay. We came here for the experience, good and bad. And so experience what you need to experience. And anytime you want to get off that train, make the conscious decision to fucking get off of it. But it's you that needs to get off of it. That it's got to be you that does it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was one. Did I send you that thing from Kevin Trudeau on writing the 70 lines for 7 days?
I don't think I've seen that video, but I don't think you sent me it.
Oh, okay. I've been doing that for just over 2 months now, since I think April 16th.
70 lines for 7 days, and you've been doing that for 2 months straight?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of lines.
That's a lot of fucking lines.
but I do something similar. This is the whole page of the same goal.
I love it. That's awesome. And I love that you use blue pen. Good man.
Blue pen. Yeah, exactly.
Sure. It's funny. I know my crew, and I always know that you and I are aligned in many ways. But I love it when it's just like, okay, yeah, no, you're using blue pen not by accident. I know you're using
intentional.
Pen. Yes, exactly. Have you done it in cursive writing?
No. So that is another step above
yourself to do it in cursive writing. There is a purpose for that. There's a reason they don't teach that in school anymore. So what I love about the 70 lines in 7 days is there's a few different aspects to it, and they all work together. And so in harmony, they're working exponentially more. And so when you write out, say, I make $100,000 a month. Let's just say that's what I want to put. That was my first one, and I realized how humbling cursive writing was, because K's are bullshit in cursive writing. So I changed that to I earn $100,000 a month. But while you're doing this, you're doing it with the blue pen, which your brain recognizes better because of the color. If you do it in cursive writing, it's a continuous stroke on the paper. So there's got to be a science to the fact that it's a continuous stroke. The other thing is while you're doing it, you're also saying it to yourself over and over 70 times. It's now been proven that if you can hold the same thought for 17 seconds, the energy, the reality will create it. And so everything that happens in the physical happens in the metaphysical first. And so while so that's 490 times over the period of a week. Guarantee what happened with me is like I get excited to go do lines. But
70 lines. How long does 70 lines take you? Like 30 minutes?
It depends on the week. Right now, like it's depending on the wording, but it's about 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's the most like that's the part I think most people have a hard time with, is the amount of time that you need to spend doing it. But you and I know the value behind it, which is why we do spend the
I
time,
mean,
including like meditation too. Like most people don't feel the value of sitting there for 15 minutes.
actually, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I wanted to say. Is it's a form of meditation, because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
20 minutes just focus on one thing myself.
right.
So if you want to, like, if you don't have 20 minutes in your day, you have 20 minutes your fucking day. Trust me. Like, you have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't have
I,
20 minutes a day. Oh, okay, yeah.
I
Yeah.
would ask them to check their phone and
Yeah.
see how much time they're spending on Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Chances are they're spending hours.
You don't have 20 minutes? Oh, okay. How is I'm going really old school with I'm aging myself. How was last night's episode of Friends? You know, or how was Survivor? You know,
Yeah.
you've got 20 minutes. You just don't have your priorities in order.
Yeah, and I think what it is though is just they don't see the value. But you and I understand
They
the
don't,
value.
yeah, they don't fully grasp and understand that
They
they
don't.
are the fucking creator.
Yes, they
You
don't
are the
understand that.
creator of your own reality.
Right, and every time you write something out, it is literally a manifestation happening in real time. But really, they don't believe it because I just
Because
they,
it doesn't show up right away. So, oh, I can't just think I have $1 million in my bank account and it shows up. Yeah, you're absolutely fucking right. You're not going to, like that. That's not how it works. It's not just thinking. There are multiple parts to it.
yes,
and
yes,
and it's also understanding that if you're, you know, the main goal is wanting, that's where actually Alan Watts talks about this, how wanting things, it ends up becoming the chase is just wanting things, because it's been proven that when people achieve their goals, perceived goals, that they go in like a fucking depression after, because that's, oh, now what?
yeah, yeah.
And so if
That's what
you're,
happened to me. That's what happened to me when I reached the Olympia stage. Now what?
yeah, because it's just like, okay, I you know, I have $1 million. Now what? You know,
Yeah,
it's how you would feel when you have $1 million, how you would live and be with that. You know,
yes,
that it's the energy and excitement and emotions that you would get if you opened up your fucking account and you know, you had you know, it doesn't need to be $1 million. You know,
yeah,
whatever the fuck makes you happy. And I think that's really what it is. You want to manifest something, manifest happiness, manifest peace and love and harmony, because that's
yes,
what we lack in a big way.
yeah. And I think the thing I wanted to add to that is uh, when when you are wanting something, you're almost indicating that you're separate from it.
Want creates more want. Yeah,
Yes, because
absolutely.
now you're perpetuating a lack essentially. Like
Yes.
I was actually on a webinar right before you right before we hopped on here,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a guy named Peter Sage. He was talking about like,
I know either stage. Yeah.
yeah, so he was doing a webinar and talking about psychology and relationship with money. And he asked the audience to put on the chat, who here wants more money? Type yes. And then, you know, me, I knew this, but I just typed yes anyways. I knew this,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, and he immediately says, "You guys will be surprised, but those who type yes, that might actually be the exact reason why you aren't where you're at financially, right?
Yeah.
Because that sense of want, it gives a belief system that you're not there yet.
Yeah, it's proving that you don't have that.
You don't have it. There's a feeling of lack.
It's saying this to the 75 trillion cells that make up your body that you do not have that.
Yes.
And those are the very cells that are creating your reality.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna want, it's just reframing things. You know, it's changing it from a want to a desire. We need desires. We all have desires in life,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, when you live from an abundance mindset, those desires are achieved a lot easier.
Yes, yes. I mean, if you think about kings, right, and just gods in general, when they desire something, I desire this. It's like in a snap of a finger, they're going to have it, because
Yeah,
anyone that works for them or anyone that's with them, they're going to try to make that a reality for them. But when you say the word want, it's almost like perpetuating that lack by saying, "Oh, I want this, but I don't have it." And when you have that
yeah.
mindset, it's going to continue perpetuating more lack.
You know what I've realized having an almost 2 year old son? A lot of people don't fucking grow up. I've seen what happens when my toddler doesn't get what he wants, and I've seen
Right?
what happens when a lot of adults don't get what they want. Not much different. It's
That's
pretty.
funny.
It's funny, but it's like, I mean, it is. It's just it is funny because you got to laugh at it because at one point you got to get to the point where you can laugh at it because it's
Yeah.
like you can't take life too seriously because you're never going to get out alive. Have some fucking fun with it, but it's tough for people to even have fun with life because they're just so jacked up, like we said, with their fight or flight, and they're so distracted from
Yes.
the real purpose that we came here with, and they want to control every aspect of it because they don't know why they came here, so they don't have that confidence and security that it always works out.
They don't have certainty, right?
Yes.
There's a phrase that do you ever listen to a guy named David Guillaume?
Sounds familiar.
He's I'll send you some of his stuff. It's really good, but he talks about having certainty beyond logic. Because a lot of
Okay.
times people think logically, and most of the times in the current circumstance, logically speaking, they don't feel confident or certain that they're going to get out of the situation, which is
Yeah.
why having that faith, right, unshakable faith and unshakable certainty on what you want and get, or not what you want, but what you desire
Yeah.
to get yourself out of that situation is so important, so that you have that energy is being put out into the world, right? And a
Yeah.
lot of times people don't have that energy of certainty; they have the energy of fear, scarcity, lack, and that's exactly why their lives are the way they are.
Yeah. They need to know where it's coming from and how it's getting there for them to even fathom it coming and being there. And
Yeah,
I'll finish it up with this because I know you got a roll. So same with me, but it's kind of like I got a good friend of mine who is very very scientifically based, but he's also Christian, and he actually trains powerlifters and has set some powerlifting records and stuff in the past for himself. And he's dialed with the science. And I'm like, how, they kind of, in certain ways, conflicts with each other. And he's just like, listen, I look at it this way. There are some things that happen in life that science can't explain. That's where faith comes in.
yes,
Because you don't need an explanation. It's your lack of faith that requires the explanation.
that's right.
And again, it's not someone. I mean, I may be proven wrong, but that might just be Project Bluebeam too. But I don't believe it's someone, a bearded fucking guy coming down from the sky. I do believe in the second coming of Christ, though,
I do
because
believe that as well. Yeah.
I believe in an upgrade in our consciousness, which again, I believe it's not only happening, it's happened. It's just actually integrating now because we've known about the spiritual battle that's been going on, that we go through, that manifests itself in weirdo world here in the ways that it does. But again, what happens in the physical happens in the metaphysical first. So it is done. It is so, and so it is. And that's just when you adopt that mindset, and it's strength, and it can strengthen your belief system to where, like, something I used to really not rely on, but and I think you can relate to this is for especially me being the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist that I am, I needed other people to prove and confirm my beliefs, essentially, which
Yeah.
means that's not a very strong belief system.
No, that's ego.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
you. That's you trying to
I'm showing you
feel like
this.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm showing you this. To say that I'm right, so that I know I'm right, and that makes me
Yeah.
feel better. It's like,
I mean, that's how I used to be when I first started out my spiritual journey as well. I was preaching the the message and
yeah,
trying to get everyone to see how I
oh,
saw things.
yeah,
But I realized that everyone is at their own level of consciousness. Everyone's going at their level of awakening.
yeah,
So now I just meet people where they're at, and I provide my insights and wisdom when they're ready.
oh man, you've grown phenomenally in so many ways since we've first met. Like, it's really cool to have been part of it and seen and chatted with you and had these talks about this. You know, it's someone that is listening to this that is misaligned.
Yeah.
May sit there and think, oh well, these guys just think they're fucking better than everyone.
No.
Listen, with awareness, it understands that it's not, you know, someone's here and another person's there. It's someone's here and someone's there. It's not that we're lateral. We all have it within us.
Yeah.
It's up to you and your free will whether you want to access it or not. And it's not if, it's when. It's just, you know, some people are taking the longer route and sleeping in, and
some people take multiple lifetimes, you know, and some people are ready to do it this lifetime. So it just depends on.
I am of the firm belief that, you know, my timeline's ready and it's time to go, not go.
Not cool, yeah. But to return to you know, our oneness.
Yeah, return to source. And when we say return to oneness, we're not talking about a one world government here. So
no, yeah.
That's a whole other conspiracy theory episode, but
That's another rabbit hole we'll go down.
Oh yeah, I mean, we love our rabbit holes, but man, this is such a great chat. I really appreciate this a lot. It resonated, a lot of it all resonated very well with me. And for those listening to this that, you know, are wherever you are on your path, you know, the only thing I always say is take what resonates and leave what doesn't. You know, you don't need to agree with every single thing that we say, because it doesn't matter. You know, no. I'm not saying it to get, you know, credit for anything or have you solidify my belief system. This is just an open conversation communicating about what the fuck we're even doing here and what we've done to help ourselves grow from within. Right. If it can help you, then great. That's awesome. Glad to hear. If not, then I hope you enjoyed the conversation, maybe got a couple laughs, and enjoy your day. You know, like it's take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
There you go.
All right, brother. This was awesome. And recording, and we will have to do this one again soon. This has been great. Appreciate you, bro.
You too.